Hello, dear friends. This is the very first live. Actually, we have gone live in some other occasions, but for those occasions, live actually didn't work well. There were some technical issues. But today, we are here live for another discussion, and this discussion is going to be very much helpful for not the students only, but even for the parents and for everyone. So, what's the topic about? So, from Shiksha Mantra, we have chosen a particular topic which I feel is very much essential for the students as well as for the guardians, and if you think so, sometimes it's essential for the teachers as well. Teachers doesn't mean one who is teaching in a school. I think you'd be just one with me. Your opinion would also be just the same. Who is a teacher? Everyone, whoever teaches something is a teacher. It doesn't matter that you have to sit before a class, there you must have a blackboard at the back and chalk in your hand. You are scribbling something, you are discussing something with your students, you are teaching them. That's not a teacher. But who is a teacher? Anyone can be a teacher. Who teaches is a teacher. So everyone can be a teacher, and that's my point. So everyone must know, including the parents, because they teach their children. Most of the time you'd find them teaching their children, helping them in having their homeworks, etc., etc. So we must feel this, that everyone is a teacher, including the parents and the elders, even the grandparents. They also sometimes help the children in learning. So here today, as you know, we in this channel in Shiksha Mantra discuss about what? About different form of education and learning, and our key focus remains on learning of English grammar and English language. So here we are going to have a discussion on English grammar and speech. So we who are the students of English literature as foreigner, so we learn English language as a foreign language. It doesn't matter whether in your academics this is your first language or second language. It doesn't matter at all. But one thing is clear, that we, the Indians, are learning English as a foreign language. This is not our mother tongue. So what happens most of the time, our mother tongue makes an impact on our uses and production of English language. So here we get one help. Most of the time you are told to follow English grammar, to learn English grammar properly. Now my question is, what is most important? Is it English grammar? Is it very much important to learn grammar? Or you just have to learn how to produce a sentence? There are several ways to make this. You may ask me questions in the comments below. You may ask me if you have some special question regarding these topics, and also you can share your opinion. Because in Shiksha Mantra, I just don't like to make it like a live session, a class. I'm not here to teach you. Rather, I'm here to discuss something. And that discussion must not be just as a class. It would be better if we treat this only as a platform of discussion. So it's a session. You may ask me, you may share your views, you may share your opinion. But as a teacher, what I feel, I have found it with many of my students that I have given them much exposure in learning English grammar, several topics of English grammar, and those topics are discussed in much detail. The discussions are pretty detailed discussions, but still, we have found many of them lack that zeal to produce a sentence. So, where comes that lack from? Where the lack comes from, we must detect this. They learn grammar, but for what? Only as a thing of learning. They lack the focus where to use them, because most of the time you find that we are making our learning essential for marks. So our focus remains the marks and not the knowledge itself. And there we suffer. Why do we learn? The very word learning doesn't have any relation with securing good marks. So, what we develop among the children, among our students, we develop one ability. And the ability is obviously problem solving ability. We want them to solve problems. We give them some problems and they solve this. And to develop that problem solving ability, they learn English grammar, isn't it? I know you would be just of the same opinion. You learn English grammar only to develop your problem solving ability. But that's not a proper learning. That is not a proper education. What is an education? An education is a all-round development. So we learn to develop ourselves, and all among all those skills, the development of problem solving ability or skill is only a skill, but it's not the education itself. So what we must do, we must fight, we must strive a lot to learn something and then convert it into knowledge. So that's what the grammar for. But when we are talking of language learning, we always feel it that for language, the best option is immersion method. Now, what is immersion method? When you are kept in some environment and gradually you would find that you have started learning from your environment. How? We may have an example here. Suppose you are in a forest and this is a rainforest. So what you'd find that it's full of snakes, it's full of insects, and also uh, most of the time it rains. So you are kept in a rainforest, and before this occasion, you have never been in a rainforest. So now what you'd start? You'd start learning how to manage your living there in a rainforest. You'd start learning about those about those insects, because most of the time you'd find them right beside you. You'd start learning how to handle a snake, and it won't be possible if you are here in a locality, in the cozy shelter of your home. So why would you learn this? You learn only because you are in atrocity. So now, if the same thing happens with the language, if you are put in an environment where it always dealing in English, everything is dealt with English. So you won't have any other option but to use the language. And there, don't think of grammar. You couldn't produce grammatical sentences. It's not possible for you to produce grammatical sentences. Rather, you'd start producing very simple sentences, sometimes some words, but somehow you'd manage to express yourself. So, what's a language? A language is nothing but a means of expression, a way of expression. So, when your expression is successful, your ability in the language would start getting developed. Now, if you think of your mother tongue, what have you learned first? Is it speech or grammar? Suppose your mother tongue is Tamil. Now, obviously, you haven't learned the grammar of the language and then you learned its speech. No, it's not the fact, dear soul. Right beside you, you'd find so many people who are so adept in speaking and reading and writing in a particular language, but they don't know even the single term of their grammar. They don't learn the grammar because language comes first, then grammar. So speech comes first, then it's grammar. You must actually get your ability in speech first. And when you gather that ability, when you gather the ability of speaking, gradually your language would get better, and with your language it would be easier for you to learn its grammar. Without knowing the formation of sentences, without knowing the A, B, C, D, that is some basic words of the language, how could you learn its grammar properly? Because grammar comes from the use of the language. So if you can't use the language properly, you cannot use its grammar properly, you can't learn its grammar properly. So first, learn to use the language well, and it would give you ample opportunity to learn the grammar then. So read in English, listen to. This is the most important factor to learn a foreign language. You have to listen a lot. You have to listen a lot of English. Suppose you are going to learn French, you are going to learn German. Why only English? Because nowadays we are very much, most of us are very much adept in speaking and reading in English, though not its grammar. So it's not the matter of English only. If you want to learn French, what would you do? You'd have to speak a lot in French. You'd at least try, and you'd have to listen a lot in French, or if Germany, in German. And then you'd have to read about this. You'd have to actually read something in this language. You'd have to try to read them, and obviously the most important factor is that you'd have to speak in this language. And there you'll find that this is very much easy for you to handle this language well. So that's our topic. Tell me, how is it? If you want many other discussions live in live sessions, you can demand them in the comment box below. I'm there to share my views with you and also to accept your views as well. So that's all for today. That's all for this session. We are going to meet again very soon. Until then, bye bye.